Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sunday Morning Grace. My name is Reverend Carolyn McGee, and I am here with my partner in love, light, and warriorism, Reverend Don Simpson. And we are so thrilled to be back for Sunday Morning Grace. You know, as wonderful as it is to honor that growth time during the summer, it's also wonderful to be back in regular contact. So welcome, everyone. As best you are able, I invite you to open up your body, put your feet on the ground, your hands on your heart if you are able, if it is safe for you to close your eyes, and let's gather the energy of our circle. Breathing in and out through your mouth. Breathing in and out. In. And just feeling our energy return. Our energy returning from all of those to-dos that we as humans accumulate. Seeing your own sacred heart as a magnet pulling in back that energy. Seeing your energy return to you from bits and pieces of it you may have left over the vacation, over the summer, whether it is visiting a family member you haven't seen for a long period of time, or perhaps it was just getting to the beach again for the first time. Consciously pulling your energy back into you. And now as your own energetic body feels a little bit more full, flip that magnet around and do a little bit of an excavation. Pulling out any energy you may have collected, not just over the summer, but also over time. Perhaps it's energy of grief or anxiety or fear, anger, resentment, judgment. There's so much going on in the world right now that can cause some of those lower level vibrations to get stuck in our bodies. And they're beautiful lessons when they're ours. But when we're bringing in others' energy, it just slows us down. Makes things murkier, harder to understand what our true path is. So just gently, as you breathe out, allow all of that energy that's not yours to be released, either returning to who it belongs to, or just being converted into golden liquid light. And just breathe for a moment and allow that process to work. And now one more time, flip your magnet around and just do another invitation for any of your energy that you have left. Perhaps you gave your energy away to another person. Maybe somebody that you love, but they need to have their energy and you need to have yours. Just gently invite whatever energy of yours is ready to return to come back into your body and kind of start to shift your energy, move your shoulders, maybe wiggle your hips in your chair, wiggle your toes, finding all of that energy naturally and intuitively reintegrating into your body. And now expressing gratitude and feeling a little bit more full of ourselves in a very positive way. Open your eyes and come back to this time in this space.
beautiful, Carolyn, as always.
Thank you.
That was so powerful. So, so powerful. I'm going to do that exact same. That was beautiful. I invite you all to do the same.
Yeah, it is part. For a while, I was doing it part of a daily ritual, and now I do it probably about once a week or every other week. And it makes a big difference. Just returning what's mine, releasing what's not. Um, the word discernment is kind of a old-fashioned word, but it's true. I can discern and understand, am I being triggered because my mother's triggered about something, or or my daughter is. I'm in that beautiful sandwich generation right now, and yeah, that's one of my lessons for over the summer and reflections. But we can get back to that. What was one of yours? For September, what we're talking about is reflections or things that we learned about during our time off here this summer. It may have been a little bit of a longer flow for you, but if anybody out in Facebook land has something that they want to comment on, I'm going to check the comments in just a moment. So Dawn.
Well, one of the lessons that I learned this summer, so my husband goes away once a year with the guys on a golfing trip with his lifelong best friend and his friends. And, so I'm home alone for this time. It was going to be, I think, 4 or 5 days. And so I was thinking in my mind all of the things that I would do with my time to make the time go by faster, when I'm here without him. So I had all these things and plans that I wanted to do. And the day that he left, the morning that he left, I got so sick. I was so sick, and I could not leave the couch the entire time he was gone. I got out of bed and went to the couch. And I was sick. And so I thought, great, now all of the wonderful things that I had planned to make the time go by, I'm now stuck on the couch where the time is going so slow, and I'm just focusing on, being alone, being sick. And so as one of the days, it was probably like day 2 when I was starting to feel like a little more myself. I was sitting on the couch, just looking out the window, no radio on, no music, no nothing, just sitting on the couch. And all of a sudden this thing comes to me. I have my pen and paper, and I start writing a kid's book. It just birthed itself through me. It just came out. And as I wrote it, I realized, like, oh my God, I just wrote a kid's book. So now what? And that was a whole learning process too, going through the whole process of getting it. And here is this book, one version of this book. A is for amazing. That's me. And I self-published the book, and I've learned so much. And normally when I go into, I'm sick and I'm not feeling good, I kind of, my spirits are down and low. Some people can handle themselves a little better when they're sick. I'm not one of them. I haven't been one of them, unfortunately. And so, but this time was different. I learned to make the best out of the senses that I had. Obviously, I didn't have my physical stuff. I couldn't get off the couch, but I had my mind for the most part, and my intuition was, on high. And I used it and created a book. So that was huge lesson for me for June. Yeah. What about you, Carol?
Well, I mentioned my mom and my daughter, and both of them have some anxiety. And the reflection of what's mine and what's not is kind of what helps me keep my sanity with dealing with 2 generations who I'm very close to and empathetic to, who unconsciously project on me. And, for many years, I allowed it. And, me moving away from both of them or further away from both of them has allowed me a little bit of that energetic and physical space to understand that when I'm feeling something, I'll now drop in and say, is that mine? I mean, that's powerful. And
Huge.
where is it coming from? And most of the time it's coming from one or the other. Occasionally I get a double dose and then I can release it back to them. And then from a place of energetic autonomy, I can reach out and say, what's going on? How can I help you? But it's me being more of service to myself. It's me being more of service to, the community, because if I'm drained and bogged down with one energy that's not mine, that isn't allowing me to be as present, I can't support other people. I've got a lot of things going on, and including a new podcast, and to have the energy and the presence to be able to give that out to the community, I need to be me. And it's been powerful. And I have noticed that both my mom and my daughter are feeling more empowered because they're owning their own stuff. They're not borrowing my energy. They're feeling full for them. And it's just so beautiful when that learning to let go and understanding and accepting, and the gratitude of, I love you, here, this isn't mine.
And Carolyn, it sounds like you're working for the three of you, and possibly without them even knowing it, but receiving the power that you're gifting them. You're helping yourself by releasing and taking what is yours and what isn't, but also empowering them to keep what's theirs and what isn't theirs either. And they're feeling the results from the work that you're doing.
Yeah. It's been amazing.
Wow. That's huge for all of you. You're working on the 3 generations, right? And that's going to carry forward to future generations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I've noticed that, the relationship between my son and my daughter is more powerful and connected because she's more her. It's confusing for people when they can't sense the authentic person.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They may be drawn to you, but if they're like, who is this person? And we're all energetic beings, right? We're all the spiritual beings having a physical existence. And so we're all like little radar detectors trying to sense into other people. And, is this person safe? Are they honest? Do they have a good heart? Do I want to engage with them? Do I have to, but I don't want to? All of these filters are going on inside of us, whether we're acknowledging them or not.
Exactly.
So
it's how tuned in we are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's just, awareness and really, having that time to focus or taking that time, right? We all have busy lives, but it's that consciousness of, I want to do this for me. I want to do this for my mom. I want to do this for my daughter. I want to do it for our family.
What a beautiful gift to give to all 3 of you. Truly, it's priceless. You can't go buy that anywhere.
You can work with a really talented professional to help you do it, but you can't.
Right. But the fact that you're even aware, that's possible, that you can give that to your mom and your daughters. So
do you have another one?
So here I'm in Massachusetts, and in July, like all of July, except for probably 2 days, it rained. So what do you do on rainy days? You have to go inside. So I did more of the going inside double. So going inside the house and going inside myself more. And so because we weren't able to be outside doing outside things and just out and about, you know, just the energy of rainy days just makes you feel like you want to stay home, you want to make soup, you want to stay home and you like cuddle and sit on the couch and watch movies sometimes, or read a good series of books or take an online class or something. It just allows you the space and the time to do that. So I did do that. I did do more inside myself, inside my home. Organize some things a little better outside, you know, outside of me and inside of me. So it brought me to a place where I was able to bring out some more creativity. So created some new products. Learning more about, there's one thing that I really want to do, and I'm working on learning how to do that, is creating courses, online courses, maybe even an ebook, taking a course, making an ebook, that kind of thing. So I'm exploring learning more on how to do that and get my courses and ebooks, you know, out there. And so, you know, it's just because, you know, we're one person, we can't be teaching workshops in all these different locations. So if you create a product one time and you share it, then it just, you know, anybody has access to it and you can teach anywhere, any time of the day or night in any part of the world. So it's a beautiful thing. So I kind of put some focus on, you know, straightening my creativity that way, organizing.
That's amazing. That's wonderful.
What else you got going on, Carolyn? What did you do? What else do you have going on this summer?
The other, you know, the other really big one for me, and I've talked about this before, was really allowing and being present to grief. You know, as my friend Alan passed in April, my heart cat Petey passed the end of May, and I realized as things started opening up more, you know, I'm in a new place. You know, my friends, most of them are in Massachusetts or New Hampshire, Connecticut. So, you know, the friends that I saw on a regular basis. And, you know, so that's another layer of grieving, you know, leaving behind that community where I could pick up the phone and say, do you want to go for a walk? Do you want to meet for lunch? You know, you and I used to meet at a bookstore. You know, there's these connections that are different. And I'm actually, even though I don't always act like it, I'm a little bit introverted and shy. So, you know, reaching out in a new environment, in an environment that's still fairly shut down, was hard for me. And so I had this deep level of grieving that kind of snuck up on me. Even though I'm very aware of things, all of a sudden I realized I've got dishes in the sink. That's not my style. You know, one overnight is, I'll totally admit it, but 2 days, not my thing. It's just not my normal way of engaging. So I was noticing these clues around me of I'm not really me anymore. There's this energy around me that's holding me back, weighing me down, so to speak. And there was a bunch of other little things, like I have a little automatic vacuum and I usually run it about every other day. I live with a dog and 2 cats, lots and lots of fur to be. And I, at one point in time, I'm like, I don't remember the last time I did that. And that's literally part of my self-care routine, is to care for my home. So there was these signs around there. And then I found myself not wanting to return phone calls. Again, sliding deeper into not processing grief versus acknowledging grief. It was just becoming heavy. And allowing myself to cry even more, allowing myself to journal even more, allowing myself to reach out to people and say, I'm lonely. You know, I know that this was guided for me to move here, but it kind of sucks. You know, it's like too much almost, you know, and an event that I was supposed to take care of or be in was almost canceled. So I was feeling, oh, I'm finally going to get to see people. And it ended up not being canceled, but there was this month of uncertainty around it. You know, again, layering on, layering on, layering on. And, but it gave me the opportunity to, you know, do my own work. You know, what do I need to do? I need to get outside. Oh, and I noticed that my gardens weren't being tended to, too. That one is a really big one for me, too. So they were cared for, but, you know, some days I would forget to water them, or I wouldn't pay attention to the natural rain and I'd overwater them. You know, it's that not paying, it's not being present because I was in the grief. So for me, it was making myself do things that I know bring me joy, which is getting out in my garden, which is walking my dog, which is reaching out and talking to people. And it made such a big difference for me. I felt, you know, like in that meditation in the opening, I felt my energy starting to come back to me. I felt me becoming more me. And I'm now much more present to the grief. And during that time, it also allowed me to see all these things, other things that I'm carrying that I don't need to. You know, things that weren't bringing me joy. You know, I've got a thing in my garage now that I moved here from Massachusetts that I am letting go. Thing as in boxes, you know, books and you know, so it's going through that and releasing, you know, releasing commitments that I made that were right for me at the time, but they're not right for me anymore because they're taking energy from me and from where I need to go. And releasing the fear of being rejected if I say, no, I can't do this anymore. There was such a big power in all of that. And you know, I think I'm still working my way through it, you know, so.
It's a process.
Yeah, and, you know, and it's a lot, you know,
Yeah.
you know, moving is one of the biggest stressors in the world. Grief and death and change, all of those categories is another huge one. You know, the pandemic, a stressor on the world, right? So I'm a 3 for 3. And acknowledging and loving myself anyway, acknowledging my humanness of, you know, this, it's a big deal, and not judging myself. You know, I tend to put on my Superwoman cape and I should be able to get through it, right? Well, we're all human. And we all need support, and we all need to be gentle on ourselves. And, you know, I got back into my weekly and sometimes bi-weekly baths because they bring me joy and they raise my energy and they help me release stuff.
Yeah. And you got to do what you need to do to support your energy. And you had all of that going on, all the big stressors in any that anybody can have. You had it all happen pretty much at the same time, you know, where you weren't done grieving one thing, and you know, the next thing came and the next thing, and you know, and I think a lot of people can relate to you because we all go through periods like that in our lives. You know, we're it's like a roller coaster. We have really good times and then something happens and and that's just life. And you know, it's unfortunate when you get kind of bombarded with hardships and grief and, you know, down times where you just, you have something happen and someone passes away, brings you down a little bit, and then you just start to come up, and then something that happens again and it brings you down even more, and you start to find your way back up, and then something happens again, so you just get down, into this grief, and it's really hard to come back up and to get up and put your big girl pants on every morning and make that phone call and say, I'm lonely, and to take that bath and to get back to doing things that you know that are going to raise you and bring you back up. But to do those things, to say that and to know that is one thing, but to actually take action on that is hard. It's
It,
hard to take those steps. It's hard to get up and make that phone call. It's hard to get up when you're feeling so down. You don't feel like looking at another person and entertaining any kind of conversation, small talk, big talk, deep talk, doesn't matter, any kind of talk. You don't want to talk or see another person's face because you can't entertain that just now. And you do have to honor that too. You don't want to force yourself if you're not ready to come to make that next little baby step. But you can't, you have your little pity party, right? As we call them, pity parties. But it's also, you need to go through the process of what you need to process. And it might take you a month, right? But at least you're processing and you're working on it, not just staying down in it and not doing anything to bring yourself back up. So
I've
it's
always been so strong and stoic, and I can do this. I mean, that's a energy in my mom's family. They're all strong farmers,
Mhm.
and they've got the can do it, muscle through it thing. And giving myself permission to be sad was one of the biggest gifts that I gave myself. And that started the healing. Like, oh, I really am sad. And oh, I am struggling to get out of bed this morning. And oh, I really do want to eat comfort food. And you know what? If I do this for X period of time, but it doesn't become my new normal for the rest of my life, it's really okay. And doing that, giving myself permission. And that's what, I want to really put out to anybody who's watching this is give yourself permission for doing something that's not going to harm somebody else and not going to long-term harm yourself, but maybe isn't in the rules that you live by, can be so soothing. Taking that bath, maybe you're too busy to take a bath, or, reading that junk novel when you've got, another deadline, or you feel like you should be cleaning the house. You're caring for yourself. And that is the biggest gift that I gave to myself. And as I released the other energy I was carrying, that judgment and inner critic and resentment that had happened, like poor me. All of a sudden I started feeling better. So it's just, and then, what brings you joy? And then allowing it. For me, the latest thing has been singing to myself and dancing in my kitchen. Now, I'm not the best singer in the world, but I can sing and I can dance, and it's just raising my energy up. So find what brings you joy.
It does. Music has been said and shown to raise your vibration. Listening to music, singing music, dancing, of course, you're moving your body, you're moving energy through you. And that's also proven to help raise your vibration and help raise how you're feeling. Even if it's just a baby step, you feel a little bit better than you did a half hour before you started dancing or singing.
Yep.
Try it. You'll
Yeah.
see.
Even if
Yeah.
it's for 5 minutes, so I'm not quite to the point where I want to put on an exercise video and dance for 30 minutes, but I notice, I call them breakthroughs, and that's really what it is. There's a reason for that term, is I'm breaking through the pattern that I had established in my grief.
Mm.
And I am breaking through into a new way of being. And I'm celebrating if it's 5 minutes or if it's 10 minutes. Or if I'm all of a sudden motivated to go outside and, deadhead flowers. Well, yay. The garden's happy and so am I. Mother Earth is happy. It's a cycle. And if I can only be there for 10 minutes, then I'm going to celebrate them there for 10 minutes. If I get lost in the joy of it and I do it for 2 hours, then whatever was next on my list, it can wait.
Yeah. Because you needed that.
And,
We
and
needed that.
humans were so hard on ourselves, so hard on ourselves. You know, I think I would invite you to ask someone who's really close to you what they see in you. And look at yourself through others' eyes instead of through our own critical eyes. Whether it's your body, whether it's you don't think you're doing enough, trying enough, being enough, whatever. That not enough energy is just heavy.
It's not serving you.
It's not, and it's not serving anybody. If you're
No.
wearing that cloak, then how can you be connected and of service to the other people that you love?
Lots to think about this week, Carolyn, huh?
I know. All of
Lots to
it
think
is.
about.
So do you-
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all to help you and going within and raising your vibration and honoring where you are and where you're trying to go and how you're going to get there in the best, highest, safest way possible for you.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. So any more that bubbled up for you, Dawn?
One last thing before we go. August was a great month. So our daughter got married. I married our daughter last year because the pandemic, we couldn't have a big celebration. So I married her. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. We had like 12 people. It was great. This year, August 21st, Carolyn officiated a vow renewal ceremony for our daughter and our son-in-law, which was absolutely beautiful. And we were so grateful that we were finally able to have our full wedding. And it was just so beautiful to have all of our friends and family that there were still people, friends and family, who didn't come because they weren't feeling safe yet. They weren't ready to step out yet. And I think we had 130 people. So they just weren't ready to come out yet. And we truly miss them because we haven't seen them in a couple of years because, we've been kind of shut in. But it's just, my point is to be grateful for the little things, because what seemingly is a little thing is not so little. And that is being able to see your friends and family, or not being able to see your friends, because our whole lives, nobody's ever told us, you can't go visit your mother. You can't go fly to see your best friend. Nobody's ever said that. We live in America. We're a free country. Nobody's ever told us that until now. So it's things like that we take for granted. And now we're, opening up. I mean, we're going back and forth a little bit right now based on, the date where you are. I mean, it's September 26, 2021, depending on where you are, things could be changed. But right now, it's just not taking lightly the things in life that seem so small. They're really not. It was wonderful to be able to catch up with and see our friends and family that we haven't seen in so long, because we just haven't been able to do that. So yeah, being grateful for seemingly what we thought were little things are not so, to be grateful. So
Yeah, and I have to tell you that that was a pivotal moment for me in shifting the energy for everything that I've been going through. Being able to hug you in person. I mean, you and I kept in contact very well, but being able to hug you in person and, being there and, being of service and really holding the space for your daughter and son-in-law, even though we had met over Zoom for, many times over the years, 2 years, it shifted things. And there really is power in that in-person connection. And it just, being grateful for that, and allowing and recognizing where I'm not allowing in opportunities in other places. It's like, it's almost like there's a like a little key in a lock, right? It's like, oh, look at that. This is safe. This is safe for me to do here. Let me, and I don't mean physically safe. It's more emotionally safe, because when you're in deep grief, you feel very vulnerable, and you feel like people don't understand, even though people do. But that's the energy that, at least for me, that I slipped into. And being held and loved and honored just helped me see myself slightly different, that mirror thing, so that I had more confidence to try and reach out to other people and make new connections here where I am. So, it's really looking for the opportunities to see yourself differently and make those small energetic changes. That's really what I'd love people to take away from this conversation.
And I also ask the same, that you take away from our conversation today, whatever feeds you, whatever resonated with you, whatever you were guided to kind of embark upon, as far as your next steps, or something to understand, or something to help you not beat yourself up, because, to honor where you are and to allow yourself to go through what you're going through. And whatever it was that we shared, we're here to share that and to enlighten you wherever you feel you need to be enlightened a little.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And it is so wonderful to, even though, the summer and early fall are my favorite seasons, the, getting back into routine is, I'm so funny because I'm not a rule follower, but the routine of things that I love, like Sunday morning grace, are so nurturing for me. So, I invite all of you out there to make this a part of your Sunday, or if you can't on Sunday, make it a part of your Monday. Reach out and allow us in, all of us, ministers from Divine Order of the Sacred Rose, allow us in and let us know how we can support you. Let's make it a community, a deeper community with feedback, so that we know how we can best serve you, because that's what feeds us. That's what part of what kept me going when I was feeling down. And I'm really excited about being back in this cycle.
Me too. I feel like this is my church. This is my, my weekly sermon, whether we're preaching it, ministering it, or receiving, whatever is being shared by our other ministers here. This is my church. This is what feeds me. This is part of what feeds me in my life. So I am honored to be here, be a part of it, and to share and to receive from all of the beautiful energies that we have in supporting this Divine Order of the Sacred Rose.
Yeah. So powerful.
Yes.
Okay, great. Good. So let me just check real quick and see if we have any. I see no comments yet. So if you do have comments, please put them there. Don and I will be both checking in to see if you need any support or just need a hi. We'll do that for you. So thank you for joining us this week. You ready to do our tenets?
Yes, I am. Okay, so let's just begin before we read these tenets, and just closing your eyes and just taking in a few deep breaths and allowing the energies that are here to support you, and something that we said, or just the energy of being here in our circle today, or whenever you listen. And allow those energies to come in and go where they need to go inside of you to help support whatever it is you need. Taking in. As you open your heart to receive and listen to. I open my heart with deep gratitude and intend today to master my spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical energies.
I am dedicated to my spiritual practice. I surrender to my soul's purpose through sacred prayer. I own my guidance.
I live in partnership with my angels. I serve with a loving heart. I am compassionate in every moment.
I trust it's all good. I allow immediate forgiveness. I honor my truth.
I listen to the spiritual messages within my physical body. I express myself creatively. I am one with Mother Earth. And so it is.
And so it is.
Mm.
Blessings to all. Bye-bye for now.
Yes, thank you. Bye for now.